right, so a lot of you guys have been asking about how I'm lighting up my podcast and the videos that I'm putting out for that. So I figured I'd jump on here real quick and just quickly show you the current lighting setup that I have right now. Very similar to the podcast style, but it's slightly different, and I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what's different in a minute. But so currently right now, I'm using 6 lights that makes up this image that you're seeing on your screen. 4 of the lights are just background practical lights, like the 2 tubes right here and the Pavo tubes that I have lighting up in the RGB style to light up the background of my camera setup and my shelves and whatnot. So that's what's going on in the background. Other than that, 2 lights that's lighting up this entire scene. 1 key light and 1 overhead light to kind of light up the background because my walls are black, and if I don't have an overhead light, it'll just completely wash out. So we'll start back with the practical lights that you actually see on your screen. These 2 lights right here, these are lights that I actually just quickly picked up on Amazon called the FTF gear, which, you know, Parker Wallback and Full-Time Filmmaker Crew kind of sells these lights. They're about $100. Comes with a nifty remote that I can kind of control. I can turn them on and off. I can change the color, temperature. I can dim them. So yeah, pretty cool lights. I use these for background practical lights as in the shot, just kind of give the scene a nice different look and a different glow. And it's also kind of acts as some rim lighting. So if you notice, the outline of my arms and my body kind of has like that glow, and that just basically helps me separate myself from the background so I can pop off the image and make that depth of field, so to speak. So that's really important actually, because like those lights, they are practical lights, but they actually are playing a role in helping me separate myself from the background. So real quick, I actually forgot to mention the Pavo tubes in the background. So the Pavo tubes that I was using in that shot, basically just added some nice RGB lighting to light up my shelves in the background. Actually, you see what it looks like without the RGB? So if I turn them on real quick. So you can see how that just kind of like changes the vibe a little bit. Just give it a little bit more of a punch, so you can kind of have that, you know, additional separation. Lighting up some things in the background on my shelves, so you can kind of give it like a little more of a pop and just kind of add to the scene a little bit. Now the Pavo tubes that I'm using the 30Cs. I bought the 4-pack on Amazon or B&H or wherever you can find them. And the way that I have them mounted to the actual shelves is that I'm using the clamps that it came with, and then I just kind of taped a little magnet onto the bottom of the clamps to kind of just help me magnetize them and mount them anywhere that I can just basically hide in plain sight or use in any type of scenario. So those are the Pavo tubes. That's what I'm using in the background. Check them out, and let's get back to the video. Other than the 4 lights you see in the background, this whole component is basically made up of 2 lights. The overhead light is the Aperture 300D with a lantern modifier. And a lantern modifier basically just kind of helps the lights spread evenly throughout the entire room, so I'm getting a nice even coat of light everywhere. And that's gonna help me to actually light up the background a little bit and everything else that I have going on, so you can actually see the wall and you see what's going on behind me. So if I didn't have the overhead light, this is what it would look like. Not bad, but again, when you have an additional light in the background, it just helps you create that separation and that depth of field, so you can pop off the camera screen a little bit more. So it makes me look a little bit more, I guess, 3-dimensional. So I'm not like disappearing into the background with the same color. So my hat is black. A lot of the stuff in the background is black. So adding that light just helps me pop off the screen. And the other light, obviously, is your key light. Your key light is obviously the most important light of this entire scene because it lights up your subject. You kind of want to have a softbox. You want to make your softbox as big as possible, or you want to have a softbox that is as big as possible. Right now, I'm running with the Aperture Light Dome 2, and that's connected to my Aperture 60D Lightstorm. The reason why I have the 300D up at top and the 60D right here, because for your key light and a lot of these videos, especially these talking head videos, you don't need a super powerful light to kind of shine in on you, because you kind of want it to just light you up just ever so slightly, because you don't want burn marks on your face and you don't want burn marks on your subjects and things like that. So right now, currently, the 60D light is only at 30%. So I'll show you what that looks like with it off. And it looks like with it on. So 30% power on a 60D, it's very minimal. And like I said, that's pretty much all you need. I probably shouldn't even be as high as 30. I probably can even drop it down a little lower. Let's see, that's 20 right there. And that obviously that looks pretty good too, in my opinion. So yeah, key light, overhead light. Now the Aperture 300D is currently at a 16%. Like I said, it's just, the Aperture 300D is a pretty powerful light, especially for like creators like myself that's not necessarily lighting up a whole movie scene and things like that. So for small spaces like this, 300D is almost overkill. I don't need that much power. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's at full power. Just way too bright. So we can tone that back down to 16 where it was at. So yeah, it's just to kind of just splash a little bit of light on the background so it's not overbearing, because you kind of want these videos to look as natural as possible, as if you're just using one light, or if you're just using the light that's connected to your actual office. And another tip that I like to tell people, when you're setting up lighting and you go into a room, the first thing you should do is turn off all the house lights, because the house lights, they have that nasty yellow tint color to them, and it's gonna make your skin tones and everything like that just look terrible. So always, first thing you want to do is turn off your house lights, then start setting up your key light, practical lights, and then go from there. So real quick, I forgot to actually mention one more thing. The difference between this particular lighting setup that you're seeing right now and then what I use for the podcast stuff, the only difference is I don't have a key light. Because, you know, basically me being a single subject, I have a key light for this shot because I wanted a little bit of softer light on my face. But for the podcast, I just set up one big light, and it's the lantern light, and I just kind of have that just throw light everywhere and all around just so it can light up me and the person that I'm talking to. Everything in the background pretty much stays the same. I pretty much play with the colors in the background, maybe go to red or blue or teal or anything like that. But that's really the only difference. Podcast, I use basically one key light to light up everybody. With this one, I use the overhead lantern light to light up the background, and then I use a key light to light up my face. That's the only difference. So that's pretty much the end of this video, but let's get back to the original outro. This has been a quick lighting tutorial. Hope you guys like it. If you like what you see, if you like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing. Like the video, hit me up in the comments, let me know how you like the lighting setup, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I've been all in my bag, you been all in my business, you be all in your feelings, I've been all in them trenches, I've been all in my bag.